everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Strange Dead Fellows. With me, as always, is Mr. Mike Archer and Keith Cookus. And today, we have a special guest with us that you may recognize as Oscar from The Walking Dead or Bo from The Starter Wife. But he has some new project on the horizon coming up, and we're going to talk about those as well. He's an actor, writer, poet, and all-around badass. Vincent Ward.
It's Vincent M. Ward. Thank you.
Hey. Oh my God!
Oh, stop it. Keep it going. Stop it. Keep it going.
What's up, folks? Guys? Oh.
What's up, man? Thanks for coming on very much.
Yes.
Thanks for having me. Absolutely.
Yeah. I know we spent a good, 20 minutes talking about everything before we had the official recording on, so sorry if it's redundant.
Every time, I think.
That was me running my mouth. My bad.
Oh, we do that too. It's all
You're
right.
in good company, man. You're in good company. If that's
appreciate it.
That's all good. So, man, how are things? What's going on with you?
Things are good, man. Just happy to see 2022. Got a birthday coming up, man. I swear I just turned 50 yesterday. Now I'm about to be 51 already.
Man.
Oh,
so
really?
You got a decade on me and you look younger than me?
I was going to say, you don't look.
How does that work?
So.
Hey, man, I got 14 grandkids, so I got to do something to, liven it up. Yeah, 14.
Keep you on your toes.
When do you sleep, dude?
Huh?
When do you sleep?
I'm asleep right now. I'm just moving my mouth.
Right now.
Autopilot.
Yep. I'm running on automatic right now.
Oh, it's my drone.
Oh, man.
Or like, they actually said, what is it that they're working on? Is the virtual images. It's like you can pay for the image and the voice of an actor or actress, and they don't actually have to do it.
It's crazy.
Have you seen that? It's crazy.
I heard of it, but you get approached to do like the cameos and the telephone calls and all of that. I remember when I first started doing those conventions years ago, I couldn't believe that people would pay you for your autograph and pictures and stuff. Because when I was approached by an agent, they was like, yeah, this is what you do. I'm like, so people really pay you for that? And they was like, yeah. And now it's getting to the point where people just pay you to say hi or send a shout out.
Yeah.
What type of world are we living in?
It is kind of weird, but I have seen some pretty cool moments. I know a guy that we're familiar with, Ryan Coltrera, he, for both of his parents' birthdays, he got like both their favorite kind of singer or actor or something, like a birthday shout out to tell them like, hey, I think one of them that had a singer, was it Meatloaf maybe?
Oh, wow.
Or something.
Meatloaf?
And it was to tell one of them that they were also getting tickets to go see him perform.
Oh, that's cool.
They were they were freaking out and so excited. So I can see how.
I think it's only weird when people ask me to do it. Everybody else not understand. They ask
I'm gonna
me
send
to
you
do it.
one.
I'm like, me? I just call and say hi.
I'm gonna book a cameo with you after this just to make it awkward.
Yeah. You're like, if you could say that I am your favorite person.
By the way, here's a link to Vincent's cameo. If anyone wants to see it, we'll superimpose that on the show.
Oh boy.
Feel
I
free
want to know
make
that you
feel
got like 50.
Yeah. I always, but you know what? I'm so grateful and honored that people would want that from me. And I don't take it lightly. You know, I really say stuff and I smile, and when I'm smiling, it's genuine. It's no phony. It's no Hollywood. It's real. It's real. It comes from the heart. Anytime I sign an autograph, every time I do the autograph, I always like rub the picture and then I sign it, because it's just it makes me feel like, wow, okay, guy, you're doing something.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I told Keith and Mike. Because I was like, I think we should try to ask him if he would be on, because I'm like, he was legit super nice, and I could tell that it was real. Like when I got my picture taken with you and Lou, like I was, because you guys are busy, and I'm just like, hey guys, what's up? Like, I'm gonna get ready to go, and just because you guys gotta do your thing, there's kind of a schedule and stuff, and so I was just heading on out, and you were like, hey Lindsay, stop by and I'll sign the picture. I'm like, nice. You are a solid dude. And
hey, I was acting. I'm really a thug.
It's my profession.
I'm thug with a little puppy. Ain't the right man. Puppy.
Oh no.
But you know what? One of my favorite commercials that I ever done was called Brevecto. I don't know if any of you saw it. Yep. And I was the smallest guy in the commercial, and I'm 6'4", 260. So it was me and 3 other guys with a little puppy, and we looked like a motorcycle gang. But it was so funny to have that puppy in the commercial with these 4 big guys.
We'll have to put that on here if we can, because I did come across that.
They brought this on themselves. Now it's war, and I want them dead.
The fleas and ticks?
Their whole gang.
We can do that. Only Brevecto kills fleas and ticks for up to 12 weeks with one tasty chew. Starts killing fleas in 2 hours and kills nearly 100% in under 12. And it's FDA approved.
Brevecto is for dogs 6 months of age or older.
Don't worry, princess. We'll settle the score. Tonight, we ride with Brevecto.
Ask your vet about 12-week protection with Brevecto.
How do we keep getting people that are taller than me when I'm usually the tallest one? Like, this is upsetting to me in general.
I'd be upset when somebody's taller than me. I'm not gonna
lie. I'm 6'3". I'm not used to it. So when I hear that 6'4", 6'5", I'm like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, like when you were on that set, 6'4", it's not gigantic, but it's significant. And then you get 6'6", 6'7", and you're just going, son of a bitch.
Dude behind me was 7 foot. Dude on my left was 6'6". The guy was on the side was 6'5".
One head. At least a head's taller than you.
I punched everyone.
And he was behind me.
I would just ask, how's the weather up there?
Yeah, and I think I got the part because I was the smallest guy.
We need somebody little. Let's get that 6'4" cat. What?
Right. Hey, little fella. Hey.
Yeah.
Come here, little guy. But then you watch, you watch like wrestling or like NBA stuff. Like Steph Curry's my height, and he looks this big.
I tell my wife all the time. Matter of fact, we just talked about that the other night. We were watching the Warriors getting blown out by somebody, and I was like, "You see that guy? Me and him is the same height." And she was like, "He looks so small." I was like, "That's exactly how I would look out there," because she's only 4'11". She's 4'11" and I'm 6'4". So I was like, the way that's already towards me is how I would look out there on the NBA court.
Oh my gosh.
I've got a friend that's 4'11", and being 6'3" and seeing her, it's like, how's my sternum look? Like the very bottom of my sternum when I give you a hug, because that's like where the top of your head is. And you realize you're that guy next to, like, you get out there with Braun or something who's got 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah, and like when you say about the wrestlers, I'm friends with a few of the wrestlers, and I'm about their height or a little some I'm taller than, and I just be like, man, maybe I could have wrestled back in.
I wanted to do that. I wanted to do that, man.
Hey, man, that was me and my dad's thing growing up, watching the old school wrestling.
I met Ron Simmons on accident at a gas station, Farouk. And
I definitely know who Ron. Real nice guy, man.
Super nice. And he's not, he's about our height, but he was just a different type of big. Like his hand just engulfed mine, It's like, God.
Did he give you the damn?
The damn? No, it was before that. This was APA era when he was still with Bradshaw doing all that.
Yeah. And but I was like, conventions, I get to meet a lot of the guys. And it's so humbling when they be like, I remember your character from The Walking Dead. You did a great job. And then they asked me if they could take a picture with me. I'm like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
So hey, that's a good segue actually, because that was a question we had for you. I'm going to jump into that.
Okay.
Like that's obviously that's one of your most well-known roles. When you were on The
Right.
Walking Dead as Oscar.
Mhm.
Now you guys shot all that in Atlanta, I know, or at least the majority of it in the area.
Senoia, Georgia.
Yeah. Now, what was that whole experience like? Because I know the majority of that season was prison in Georgia. I know the South pretty well, and I know how the weather can get.
Oh man.
Was it just a nightmare shooting?
That was probably the toughest thing. 100% was the weather.
Yeah.
Either you was gonna be outside and you was gonna burn up, or you was gonna be inside in the prison, which was a studio that was built. They built all of that. They did an
Really?
awesome job. Oh yeah.
my God.
That's
All of that was
impressive.
built. I would go around and just knock on them like, this is not real. So either you be in the sun and you burn up, or you be in the air condition and you choke to death because you know that they spray this stuff in there to make it look spooky or whatnot.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
time I was like, give me the air conditioning and choking.
Yeah. If you had to pick easily. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I mean, you can easily go and sit in the corner where it's not, spooky or whatnot, or you can just go outside. But that Georgia weather, woo, was no
Yeah.
joke.
I
Yeah.
can't believe that was a set. That looked like a real prison.
No, we were at a studio.
Yeah.
That even the
Wow.
outside was a set.
The outside was a
Yeah,
set?
the gates and all of that stuff, they built all of that.
Really?
Yeah,
Whoa.
the
That's
fields,
impressive.
all of that. They do a
That's
awesome
massive.
job with that.
Now, I know Nicotero is the main dude for all the
Mhm.
makeup on the show. When you're face to face with some of his creations, like is
Yeah.
it as realistic and creepy as it is for the people seeing it at home?
I definitely thought, because you have to remember, I didn't know anything about the show. I
Yeah.
had no clue what The Walking Dead was. I didn't know who Norman Reedus. I didn't know any of the characters except for
Yeah.
I might have knew one, but when I got there and I first saw the walkers or zombies or whatever you want to call them,
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna have nightmares. I
Yeah.
really truly did. I was like, what in the hell is going on? What is this?
Yeah.
What did I sign up for?
And then once you start eating lunch with them and they're sitting next to you having a conversation, you're like, okay,
And their
I'm over
face
it.
is falling off.
Well, it's not falling off at that time, but it's looking rough.
Oh, okay. I'm like, did they have lunch in makeup? I don't know how
They
they
have to,
You
because
have
you
to,
have to
because it's
think
what,
about
6,
it.
7, 8 hours, depending on what
Yeah.
it is.
Well, for the walkers depends on the look. It's gonna take a couple hours. It's
Mhm.
gonna
Well,
take a
season
couple
3,
hours.
they weren't as completely decayed as
Right.
they are.
Yeah, so I had to. I have a lot of respect for them because I just filmed a movie called Seven Cemeteries with Danny Trejo,
Mhm.
and I had to be a zombie,
Did
but
you
I was
really?
a zombie that could walk and talk. So what it is Danny Trejo, how can I put this without saying too much? He brings a few people back, the seven dead. He brings us back to help him seek revenge on somebody. But the thing is, he's the one who killed me from the get-go.
Oh, was it all
Really?
people he killed that he brought back?
Just me.
Just you?
Just me he killed.
That's
But he
an
was
interesting
friends with the other
dynamic.
people.
He was
So
making amends.
Actually, Lou Temple he's in the movie also.
Lou
Is
is?
he really?
Yeah, but going back to The Walking Dead, I understand how the walkers felt because you got to get there a couple hours early.
Yeah.
And it's just a pain to get all that makeup on. And then remember, you still got to take it off once you
Yes.
ride.
Yes.
So that's another hour sitting in the chair. But the worst thing was putting the contacts in. I don't see how people do it. That is the
Yeah.
absolute worst.
Because aren't those
Man, I don't even
contacts
do
like really
contacts.
big?
Yeah, the contacts that I had in Seven
all
Cemeteries, it went all the way around my eye.
Oh,
And this is
the
coming
That's
from
what
a
I thought they
person who doesn't wear contacts, period.
Oh,
You see this, right? Like I'm
Yeah,
in
I
the same
see it.
boat. I'm just
I
like,
got
nope.
contacts in right now, and it took me a while to get used to them.
Yeah,
And they're all just like,
and then somebody has to put them in for you. So you got somebody's finger is all in your eye. So
Because they're full eye cover, aren't
yeah,
they?
Right.
so
Yeah.
salute to the walkers, the zombies in every movie, to the makeup artists, because that's a tough job. That's a
Yeah.
tough job to be able to have to do that every day, all day, retouching, and then take the scrubbing the stuff off of people. So I salute
Yeah.
whoever does that line of work.
And
like
in
I
that
just think
short heat.
about like the small amount of occasionally on Halloween I'll put face makeup on, but usually I don't because it gets so itchy and stuff. And then you think of like the heat in Georgia, and
Yeah,
you can't like scratch it.
just all day.
Yeah, just tapping.
I remember, true story. I remember this guy. He was an extra, and most people don't realize that, like, for the walkers, they got to go take like a 4-hour class on how to walk, not make the noise, but walk. And this guy, he was on a hot cement, and ants and bugs is crawling all on him. And he was like really flamboyant. So he had me dying. So they would say action, and all of a sudden I heard. I was like, hey man, you gotta be quiet. He said, I can't stand this. I'm out of here. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, lunch, I am leaving. He left. He left, but I kept hearing him say, while we were rolling.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
God.
but
I hope some of that snuck through. Did any of it?
But just think about it. He has all this makeup on, his clothes. He's laying on hot black top cement, and bugs is crawling on you. So
yeah, no, thank you.
yeah.
Ooh.
So I mean, salute to the extras. Everybody got. Hey, people say they want to be a show. I want to be an extra on there. Okay, you want to be an extra to those bugs, that heat, and us hitting them. You have to remember, we like clocking people.
You're not shaking hands with them.
No,
like you got to damage the head. You got to go for the kill shot every time.
Yeah, I think I hit a couple people a little hard, too hard, and they asked me to, tone it down a little bit. I was like, oh my bad.
Well,
that's got to be something different.
In the middle of it, and it gets a little intense, and you get into it, then you kind of start to forget a little.
Yeah,
you're still trying to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge fight scene. It was a huge fight scene when Tomas was throwing, he's trying to throw Rick onto the walkers. And it was the scene with my favorite line, I ain't never pleaded for my life, and I ain't about to start now.
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah.
You're just like, do what you gotta do.
Yeah, but I've been in that situation before.
For real?
Yeah.
Like
For
real.
And you never believe where I was at. One of my favorite restaurants of all time, back in my hometown, Dayton, Ohio. I was at White Castle's.
At White Castle?
White Castle. This guy pulled a gun out on me and two of my friends, because these young ladies had walked past. I ain't gonna call them young ladies. These wenches walked past, and they was going to the bathroom. This is when we were sitting there and eating. They went to the bathroom. They came out, and they was like, "Which one of y'all called me a bitch?" I was like, "What?" We hadn't even looked at them. We was like, "We don't know what you're talking about. Get on out of here with all of that." They left, came back with some guy, and he was like, "Baby, which one of them called you a bitch?" And she was like, "The one with the red shirt." We all looked at our shirts, and of course, I had the red shirt on. And this dude took his gun out and had it pointed at me in White Castle, and it was like inside. It was like slow motion. Like everybody, like if you was cooking, you stopped. If you was paying for your food, they stopped. And he noticed that everybody was looking.
Silent, yeah.
Yeah, he noticed that everybody was looking, and he's like, "You better get all these people in here, or else I would shoot your ass." And he's like, "Let's go, baby." And they walked out. Yeah.
Wow. They just freaking out over dumb drama stuff. Just,
and this was.
Oh, they just wanted to start shit. That's all that was.
Yeah,
this was in the 80s. in the freaking 80s.
Damn.
So, I thought about that, and I thought about one other incident when a guy that I went to school with put a gun out on me too. And I was giving him a ride to his destination.
What, did you take the wrong turn?
Huh?
Did you take a wrong turn?
No. He got out of school, we got out of school, and he became this big time, bad guy or whatever. And he was like, remember when you guys used to crack on me in school, everybody joked on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I said, but I said, dude, we was kids, we was just having fun. And his whole thing is he was letting me know he was the man now. So I thought about those two incidents while I was shooting that scene.
Wow.
That's a lot, dude.
Yeah,
That
man.
is a lot.
So the whole thug and puppy thing you were talking about, you've lived it both.
Yes.
That's just on screen.
So Walking Dead obviously is a comic book. I read the comics before the show came out because I'm that guy, and so is the other guy on the show. We're both comic nerds. You've got one coming up. You've got a new movie. Was it Devilreaux?
Devilreaux. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's based on a comic, right?
Well, I decided to make it into a comic.
Okay, so it was the other.
It's coming from a guy who never read a comic book in his life.
So you're in good company then.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna make this into a comic book, but the people that I was working with, they got flaky on me, so the comic book is on hold. But Devereaux has been shot. We talked about this off air, right?
Yeah.
So let me talk about it again on air.
Yeah.
So Devereaux has been shot. It's starring myself and Tony Todd. Tony Todd is playing my dad. It's being distributed through Lionsgate, and I am so excited to see this. I look at this character as being like the new face of horror. I always wanted to be up there with Jason's and Freddy and Michael and Candyman. So, I hope people receive it the way that it's put out. Because I can see Devereaux going, as many as Saw. What is Saw 10 now?
Yeah,
27 with that side note with there's a connection for you too. Chris Rock doing Book of Saw stuff. What was it? Squiggle or what was it he did?
Yeah, I watched it. I checked it out. Him and Samuel L. Jackson. So okay.
Hadn't seen that one yet. I'm skeptical.
It was all right. It was all right.
Like once you get through 3 Saws and they keep going.
They're on every night. Every night. All 3. All 5. All 6.
Yeah.
So,
that
I saw
Final
the first
Destination.
2, I know, but after that, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's up there. It's
almost like 10.
Yeah, I think it turns into more gore porn than it does story after a certain point. It's like how creatively can we?
I mean, look at Halloween. How many times are they going to bring that back?
Yeah.
They keep bringing it back because they keep making money off of it.
Well, they're doing a good job with it too, though. Saw, I loved the first couple. I thought they were great.
Yeah.
But
so, what did you think about this last Halloween?
We loved
did
it.
a show on it. I loved it. I thought
Halloween
it was great.
Kills, we loved it.
It was more social commentary than horror to me, which was what made it. It reminded me of like a Night of the Living Dead or something like that has so much social commentary thrown into it that makes it whatever you want it to be. It can be that movie for you,
right? And going back to what we were talking about before we started recording, like doing the conventions, it's so cool to like be friends with Jason and Michael Myers, all these guys. Just like, wow, I've been watching y'all over the years, and now we're all cool. So,
well, hell, you were in a movie with all of them.
Yeah.
Short of, I mean, Robert Englund's the only one that wasn't in it, wasn't he? Because you had Leatherface. Gunnar Hansen wrote it, didn't he? That's Leatherface. Then you got Kane Hodder, and you got Berryman, and you've got Tony Todd. You've got all those guys in it.
Yeah.
And Yeah, that's. I
I've
mean,
actually
that to
worked with
me.
Tony. I've worked with Tony 3 times now. I
Have you
did a
really?
movie called
that's cool.
Live. Well, I don't know if they pronounce it Live Evil or Live Evil.
Oh
Um,
yeah, okay.
we did that in North Carolina like some years ago, and that's when I first met him. And I was just like, "That's Candyman. That's Tony Todd." So I
You
was
had your
excited.
fangirl moment.
Yeah, I was excited to meet him, and then we end up doing Death House, which we didn't really see each other on Death House, but to really get to sit down and talk to him on my own movie, that I created, Devereaux,
Mhm.
was definitely an honor.
Yeah.
Just listening to some of the stories and seeing that we had a lot in common, a lot in common, especially starting off in theater. And that's where I started my acting career in Columbus, Ohio, on the stage. And if you can do a play, you can do anything because
Yeah.
there's no cut in
Right.
plays. There's just straight up action, and you got to keep going. And I
Yeah, 'cause
actually
if something comes up, you gotta roll with it.
yeah,
You
I have
just
I'm doing my first play in June in Dallas, Texas. Called The Worst 32 Days, and it's about this young lady who lost half of her family to COVID. She
Damn.
lost
Oh
like
man.
5 or 6 family members to COVID. So that's why it's called The Worst 32 Days. And the last play that I did was a touring play with Snoop Dogg called
I
Redemption of
saw
a Dog.
that.
And when I tell you he's like the ultimate professional, I have nothing but great things to say about Snoop.
Yeah.
He was a straight up team player. It wasn't no ego. It was his very first play. I was happy that I can, kind of teach him some things about the stage because if you don't know, you end up turning your back to the stage. I mean, to the audience. Small stuff like that.
Stuff
But
you
he
would
was
never consider. Yeah.
exactly.
Because
He
you're
didn't
just
even know you had to change clothes. He was like, "Man, we got to change clothes." I was like, "Yes, different scenes."
Yeah.
He never even thought about that. So he would have to run, have people help him change clothes about knocking his microphone off. So he did an
Yes,
awesome job. Awesome.
that's cool. Oh,
Yeah. I could see a change in Snoop when just in his. I mean, I don't know him honestly, but just the persona, how he carried himself once he got away from Death Row and Suge and all that.
Mhm.
Like
right.
it was night and day. And
He better.
I've had my own run in with Suge, and that was one of the scariest moments of my life too. So like
Yeah,
I get it. You become who you need to be around that man.
And
I
Keith, you're gonna find this kind of crazy. I'm think what Vince is about to say about Suge.
well, I actually met Suge one time at Dave and Buster's.
What?
Dave and Buster's?
At Dave and Buster's, and I was telling him that it was an opportunity that I might get to play him. And he was like, "Oh, that's cool. That's cool." He said, "Let's make sure you do a good job." And I was
Straight out
like,
of
"I
Compton?
will." Nah, this was in Hollywood.
No, I mean
And
for the
straight out
movie.
of Compton. No,
Yeah.
it was something else.
Something different. Okay.
Yeah, it was something else.
Wasn't
And
it
he was
in
like,
the Snoop Dogg play that
"Huh?
you were gonna be
Oh, I'm
playing?
gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to
Okay,
that."
okay.
So I met him there, and he's like, "All right, big homie, I got to get back to my kids. We're over here." And that was the only time I met him. But in the
Mhm.
Redemption of the Dog play, I was actually playing him. But my
Mhm.
character was called Big Sauce, but
Big
I was really
sauce.
the devil. And I
Oh.
revealed that I was the devil at the end
Oh
when
wow.
my line was, "I'm about to show you what's really going on." And when I did like this, it was like Kane in the WWF.
Just
The whole stage caught on fire, and the furniture
Oh.
just zoomed off because it was these LED lights or some kind of lights.
Mhm.
It was
Uh-huh.
actually the lights was actually a character. It would change, and
Yeah.
you would really think that you was in a specific room because of the lighting. It was
Yeah.
Mm.
awesome, man.
Oh, that's rad.
It's
What play was
incredible
that?
what they can do with effects.
Redemption
Yeah.
of a Dog.
Yeah.
And it was all about Snoop redeeming his life to becoming who he is today. But my character was trying to keep him from going the positive route. And I did
Mhm.
all types of stuff to him in the play to try to, sway him
So
out.
you were based on Suge, but you were
Based on Suge.
So you were like the devil on his shoulder kind of thing.
Oh yeah, but
bro,
then
I'd have had PTSD seeing you playing.
But then I showed him
because
that
my
I was
experience
really
was
the
not.
Mhm. Yeah, I was gonna say Keith running with him was.
I got PTSD for real from that one.
Wow. But you know,
It's a serious situation.
I just blocked his car.
Oh,
and didn't realize it. So that's all I'm gonna.
Yeah,
it happens.
It just went south.
You just say my bad and move your car.
I did, and I just kept going. I didn't park again. I left where I was.
Yeah. But you know, I think like his whole persona, you know, after a while he had to keep it up. But true story, I used to see Suge at my church.
Yeah,
at my church. I saw him there a couple of times. We never spoke. The only time I ever spoke to him was Dave and Buster's. But I saw he was in church sometimes. You know, everybody. You know, once you put on that mask, that character, once you hit the streets, you got to stick with it.
Like Tupac, like 100%.
Yeah, and Tupac was definitely not a gangster guy. You know, he was started off as a dancer in Digital Underground. But he felt like his loyalty had to be to how Suge was when Suge got him out of jail.
Yeah.
You look at his first album before he hopped over to Death Row, it's completely different Tupac too.
Yeah.
Completely different. And that man, Tupac, like I'm not a huge, rap hip hop guy. I have that era I really like, but just the difference in the transitioning, even like when Ice Cube left NWA, the anger he had and the beef he had, and then Dre when he did the Chronic shortly after that, just that progression
I'd be mad too if I was Ice Cube if they wasn't.
Oh yeah,
he wrote everything and they wasn't paying him.
Yeah.
I'm cool on that. I mess with my money and my family.
Yeah.
We got this IOU for you right here.
And Macy. Macy is my furry child. You better not mess with her.
Oh my goodness.
Is she in the room with you right now?
Yeah, she's right here.
I was gonna say we can show the puppies right now.
Macy.
The two puppers that we have.
Come here, Macy Krosky.
You got Zoe, Keith?
Oh yeah.
Hi, Macy.
Oh, hey, Macy. Oh my gosh, she's so cute.
Say hello.
Oh. You say hi to Macy?
Zoe and Macy.
Zoe. Is that Macy? Right, you see Macy?
She's like, I'm not going to look at that screen. She refuses to look at it. It's so funny. She's always just turning her head.
You okay?
You see Macy?
Yeah, on Instagram, I saw some of your little videos with her, and it's so cute.
Yeah, this is the first time I ever had a dog this long.
How old is she?
Especially as an adult. She's one. She's one.
Really?
Yeah, as an adult, I never had a dog. I had 2 birds. I had 2 doves for the longest, for at least like 6-7 years.
Really?
And they would have eggs. They would lay eggs, and they never hatch. And I'm just like, what the heck is he? I thought these was 2 girls, but I never knew what the heck they was. And then finally, I ended up giving it to this little girl who was a daughter of a friend of mine, and she really loved the doves. And I was just like, you can have them. Yeah, kind of hurt my feelings, but I gave it to her because she really liked the birds, and I had them for so long.
Yeah,
I remember driving here to California back in 2000 from Ohio, and I got a flat tire, and I didn't know how to change the tire. It was in an Explorer. It's like when you used to stick the pole in and the tire would come down, and I didn't know how to change it.
Oh, the spare that's underneath?
Yeah. I remember sitting there, and my birds was just looking at me like, what are we going to do? They sat in the front seat with me for like 28 hours coming to California.
They're sitting there judging
staring at me.
Change the tire.
There's got to be some resentment there because they're like, I've got built in, like I can get out.
Right.
But I'm loyal enough. Can you figure out this damn tire, please?
But I learned a lesson though that day. This guy, older white guy, he was in a gold. No, that wasn't you. He was in a gold Saturn with his wife and 2 kids. He pulled over, changed my tire, put my stuff back in the truck, and I tried to pay him. And he said, no. He said, if I take your money, then God won't bless me. He said, drive safe to California, and took off.
Oh,
That's
I
awesome.
never forget that, because matter of fact, I had on a black hoodie just like I got on now. I had on all black, so I'm looking, kind of rough. I was been driving for a minute. No, I take that back. I was driving for 45 minutes because I was in Indiana. So you go from Ohio to Indiana, and I didn't know how to change my tire. And that was the year that the Ford Explorer's tires would explode, and it was killing people.
The Firestone tires.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But I just had a regular flat tire, but I didn't know how to change it.
Well, thank God, just a regular flat. I totally forgot about that whole thing.
Yeah.
That was insane.
So.
And good guy. That's awesome. That
Yeah.
renews your faith in people, you know?
Yeah.
Well, especially like I'm gonna throw this one out there just because, again, being from the South, I hear a lot of these things. For an old white man with his family to stop in the middle of nowhere to help a young black man in a hoodie change a tire speaks volumes too.
My point
Yeah.
exactly. But you know what? When I think about it, that Utah license plate, I'm like, this guy is probably a Mormon or something that that's really like, I'm gonna help this guy type person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I saw some here it happened yesterday, day before yesterday. The guy had his coat. It was cold. He put his coat on his homeless guy. The homeless guy got up and just started beating him, man, because he didn't know what was going on. But the guy was just trying to help him because it was cold outside. And the homeless dude ended up robbing him.
Oh, man.
He robbed him. He didn't kill him, but he robbed him.
Jeez.
I think today's time is a little different from back in 2000.
Yeah.
Oh, big time. Well, you've got the disparity too. It's that gap keeps growing. The desperation just, you know, you can only do it for so long and see the gap get bigger and bigger and bigger as time goes on.
Desperation, the hate, the racism, all of that is worse, seems like recently. So
I don't know that it's worse, but I think it's more open now. Like it's become more of a, I think it's always been there one way or the other. It's been deemed more acceptable now because of
especially with social media.
Right.
Social media is on there every day. You know, back in 2000, there was no social media, like that.
Yeah.
I always say I feel like the internet is the best and the worst thing that was ever created.
Yes.
Because it gives people a platform to be somebody that they aren't.
Yeah.
And to say things that they don't have the courage or balls to say
in person.
Yeah.
Like,
and do it anonymously on top of it.
And it's awful. There's accounts that I follow that are all about awareness and bringing people together, and their posts are taken down. Meanwhile, there are these straight up Nazi saying the worst stuff.
Oh yeah.
And they're just still there.
Oh yeah. And then on top of that, it's like the other day, I actually said something on Snoop's page. I like to make people laugh. I like to have a good time. Yeah. And I said something on there, and this dude responded like, "Why are you even talking? Who gave him a blue check mark? He ain't nobody." And so the first thing you do is you go on a page and you see that they following thousands of people. They never have posted anything. And that's where the whole bot thing comes from. They just want you to say something to them so they can keep it going. And I just like, oh, what's wrong? Are you okay?
I'm having a bad day.
Yeah. So, and then I blocked.
It's like dude's name is like James 475597, and you're like, oh, this is legit.
A whole bunch of numbers.
Like, dude, come on. No, I know what you're being. Again, we talked about. I'm from Arkansas, and I am a 6'3" white guy that has no hair, covered in tattoos, and a metalhead. So I get a lot of the looks from both sides. Like, are you one of us, or are you like, you know what I mean? And I'm the most like ridiculously liberal, love everyone.
Me too,
I'm
brother.
so, but
Yeah.
getting that, like,
Bunch
it's
of
the same
teddy
thing with you.
bears.
I'm sure we were talking about when you got, flat tire. It's black guy in a hoodie in the middle of nowhere. It's like, ooh, it's like this
Right.
dude has 2 birds in his front seat. Like, what do you seriously? Come on. He bought a puppy that's this big out of some
Like
bitch's
birds
purse
of
at
peace.
It was
Macy's.
this big.
I was gonna say, because you said you got her for Christmas, and I was like, was that just this past Christmas? But it had been the one before.
She's one. She was very small.
Oh,
And it's just I love her to death. I do.
yeah, they're the best.
Love her to death. Yeah.
Hey, I got to ask you about one other thing too.
Okay.
Just for my own curiosity, I was in a band for a long time. I do poetry, all that stuff. Big shocker, I know. Oh no, you know where I'm going, don't you?
I know where you're going.
2012-ish.
Yep.
You released something.
Eargasms. Don't talk.
We need a little music again.
Yeah, I need some wine with that.
Right. But I came up with that concept because when you used to have your recording back in the day, you had the music playing in your recording.
Yeah.
And that was the thing, see what kind of how suave you can be on your recording.
The vibe, yeah.
Yeah. And then me and my best friend back in the day, we used to have this thing called The Voice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like when you're trying to talk to a girl and you try to make your voice deeper than what it really was.
Yeah.
So that's how I came up with Eargasms. Don't talk, just listen. And I always said, it's for the ladies, but it's for everybody. But I always tell her it's for the ladies, the nights that you're taking a bubble bath, have some wine and the candles, and just let me take you there.
Yeah, I heard some of it last night, and I was like, "Damn!"
I'll be honest.
Straight to the point.
Yeah, I sent it to Lindsay, and the minute I heard, I got through. I think the first song, like the first track, is called "The Voice," I think, and then it's like a radio station, like call sign or something.
Yeah, like
by the time that one finished, I was in the bathtub with a glass of wine. Like it happened. I don't know how it happened, but there we were.
I tried to make it like a radio station, like somebody would call in and request a song, but when they call in, they requested, me.
And
it's so funny. It's so funny.
Oh my god!
So when I first did it, a friend of mine was like, "You should go on tour." I was like, "Really? Yeah, you should go on tour. I'm gonna start booking you places." I was like, "Okay." So my first show, I was so nervous.
Oh my god!
I had did Miss Smooth, and they was like, "You want something to drink?" And I'm not like a big drinker, but I was like, "Yeah, give me a margarita." And I remember I gulped it down, and they was like, "You want another one?" I was like, "Yeah."
You're like, I need some liquid courage right now.
I couldn't even remember the lines. I could not remember anything.
Did you just have to improv all of that stuff?
Yeah, because I was out of my comfort zone. It's one thing to be on stage and performing, but it's another thing being up there talking like that in a club to people, and they just like right here looking at you.
Yeah.
Man, when I saw the cover of it, I was like, oh shit, this is Key Sweat shit. Like it immediately like
But one of my concerts is on YouTube.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm finding
that on YouTube.
I was gonna say we'll have to look for that.
Yeah, and it's crazy because the same girl who booked this particular show, she's like, "Yeah, you should have a dancer with you." I was like, "Okay." So she went and got a girl that could dance, and we had to rehearse right before the performance. So that's where you're gonna see the dancer at. That's how I came, like 20 minutes before we performed.
Oh man.
Yeah. Because
dancing another level of stress to add to it. Cheapers.
Yeah, dancing and playing basketball was my two loves before acting. I never thought about being an actor until I got fired from General Motors.
Really?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you grew up as a kid being like, I want to act someday. It just
No,
kind of
never thought about that. I was working
really.
at my thing was I wanted to be a dance. I was in a rap group.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 albums. I was in a rap group, and we would open up shows for MC Hammer and Public Enemy and Salt and Pepper and
Shut
people like
up.
that. And you know
Nice.
how back in the day, you had dancers in the rap group. So I'm 6'4", and my dancing partner was 6'5". Shout out to Broderick Dumas. We was called Night and Day. And we would win every dance contest in the Midwest because we would actually practice and we just put on shows when we were in clubs. And then like some groups would come
That's
and ask
cool.
us, hey, you guys want to dance in our group? And then we ended up dancing with Dr. Ease and the East Town Posse was the first group. The second group was called the Slam Syndicate. And we were on It's Your Band Records with Vanilla Ice.
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
So yeah, it's a video on YouTube with us dancing in my rap group too.
You said that Vanilla
Oh,
Ice, man. I just ran across a clip of him on. You remember when he was on Arsenio, and Arsenio was like, "Yo, you're a culture thief," and you said some shit about Hammer, and he was like, "What? No, what?" And he's like, and then you brought Flavor Flav out here just to show you had a black friend, and he was like, "What? No, what?" Like that was the most awkward. I remember seeing it because you've got a decade on me, so I was 10, 11 when he was blowing up, and I remember watching Arsenio. That was I wasn't into Carson and all that crap.
Oh yeah, Arsenio was the show. Yeah.
I like In Living Color, Arsenio. Like those were my two that I really at a young age remember making an effort that was edgier to watch.
Right.
And I remember seeing Vanilla Ice on there, and like I didn't remember it being that uncomfortable.
Right.
And I saw it again, and I was like, "Ooh."
Yeah, when you're a kid, you just
that
guy used to jam though. He used to jam, and he's still he's doing good, and he still looks good. He's doing his thing with his reality show, his home decorating.
Where he's flipping houses or something. Yeah. He's doing. He did like a metal album too. Like didn't he?
What?
Yeah, he did a metal album, and he did the Ice Ice Baby in a metal type of form.
Like new metal, like Limp Bizkit sounding type.
Well, Ice-T did the same thing.
Body Count.
Yeah, Ice-T did it too.
I actually like Body Count more than I like
over in that genre.
Well, that what was it? 92, 93 Judgment Night. That movie that came out had I just remember Emilio Estevez being in it, but the soundtrack came out, and that was the first time I remember rap and metal like coming. You had like Onyx and Biohazard. You had Public Enemy and Anthrax. And that sort of started that evolution of rock and rap coming together too.
Sometimes you find a different niche, and you got to switch it up. That's why I end up making Devereaux and the Stepdaddy, and I always wanted to host, so I created a show called Conventioning. I created a show with my wife called Street Eats with the Wards, and you got to switch it up sometimes, man.
I was gonna say, from what I've looked at, you're like dabbling in everything.
I am
everything
until some catches.
Yeah.
and this is not on ego or anything like that. It's like I dabble in it because I feel like I can do it. You have some people that can just do movies and TVs, but they can't do TVs, movie and television. But they can't do theater. You got some people that can do theater and can do television and movies, or they don't have the personality to host. Some people come off, they want to be a host, but they come off phony or dry. I think the biggest thing for me is my personality. And I and I can talk, and I like to make people laugh, and I want people to feel comfortable, just like I want to feel comfortable around them. So
when you can bring your personality and make it natural into something you're interested in, it's almost like you're obligated to do that and share it with other people.
I have a lot of movies that's coming out this year, but guess what? I didn't write any of them. I'm just making money for everybody else. So why not, bring some of that to myself and to my team, and just be an example of well, this is what you need to do. This, because nobody has taught me anything. It's some things that I still, if I knew, I'd probably be in a bigger, I don't want to say better place, because I'm fine where I am right now as far as my life and my family and my health. But when it comes to business, sometimes you got to know some people to get to some places. So that's what I'm trying to focus on now, is getting to know the right people, not the people just tell you anything because they love you and they respect what you're doing. But I want people to be honest with me. Don't sugarcoat anything. Don't give me the BS. Give me the real talk.
Because that's the only way you can improve and actually like really learn and grow is the criticism. Yeah.
I have another story for you. I remember I was a stand-in. I did a lot of stand-in work on this show called Girlfriends. And then I was a personal stand-in for Terry Crews on Everybody Hates Chris. And that's how I got all those parts on Everybody Hates Chris. Okay. But going back to being a stand-in on Girlfriends, I remember Common. This was like 2001, 2002. Common was on the show.
Don't hurt my feelings about Common. I hope it's a good story.
No, nothing bad.
Okay, good.
I remember them telling him, "Oh, that was great. Great job. Whatever." And I'm just a stand-in. I'm a step higher than an extra. Yeah. And I remember him coming to me, asking me. He said, "Hey man," and we was in the restroom, and I remember like it was yesterday. He said, "How do you really think I did?" And I was in my mind, I was like, kind of sucked. But all these people telling him, yo, that was great. That was great. And I was like, it was all right. I said, but I could see some, doing some changes in it. And I remember him saying, "Man, I appreciate you being honest with me."
Yes.
Without them, because these people got me going out here just looking crazy because of whatever. And he went out there, he made the changes, and it was better. He wasn't the same actor. Of course, he wasn't the same actor he is today. But that's when he was first starting off.
Right. Yeah. And that's when it's the most important for that real feedback, when you're just learning and starting out.
And I remember when I first started doing plays, and I've always been a competitor. And I never knew anything about acting, but I knew I wasn't going to be the weak link. And I remember my confidence was starting to build. And I remember going to the director who first gave me my first chance, James Chapman, may he rest in peace. I remember him telling me, I remember me asking him, "So James, how you think I'm doing now?" And he was kind of a hater. He was a hater because he saw me leaving his play company and started doing other things. And still may he rest in peace.
Yeah.
And he was like, he said, "You know what, Vince? Sometimes people get parts because the way that they look." And he walked away from me. And I never forget that. And I never forget, we were out to lunch one time. And I can hear him and this lady talking. And the lady, she pointed at me, but I act like I didn't see it. And she's like, "That guy's going to be a great actor. That guy's going to be a great actor one day." And he said, "Who, him?" And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, he said, "He is tall, isn't he?" And the lady's like, "I didn't say anything about his height. I said something about his talent." And right then and there, I knew I had outgrew what he was trying to do. And I left it alone.
Yeah. His mind was set on bit parts. Are you going to be able to fill this gap that I physically want filled? Like, as far as black male, this tall, this age, that type of thing. It had nothing to do with the skill.
What it was, he would do educational plays, and we would go to different colleges and performing. And it was always like a 3 or 4 man play. So these people that was in the plays, they were always just like cherish him and just, "Oh, you're the greatest, and you're this, you're that." But they never thought about growing bigger than that and getting away from him. For me, I started doing other stuff, not out of being trying to be disrespectful or anything like that, but I saw this is what I really and truly want to do with my life, but I can't just do it with him for the rest of my life. Right. So he saw that, and he was just like, "Yeah, he is tall, isn't he?" "Tall? What are you
You just got bitter about it.
Yeah. But I thank him for giving me my first opportunities. But in life, people, you have to want more out of your life than it just to stick with this. You know, I don't want to call anything somebody do small, but if your dreams are big, then what your you know what you're trying to do and the effort that you give should be bigger also.
Yeah.
Or you be stuck. Why not you? That's why I tell myself all the time. Why not me? I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be.
Right.
And you have to keep that in your mind.
Constant progress.
Okay.
Yes.
Up here.
Remember the growth. Yeah.
I remember being the flat tire. I remember being on the side of the road. I remember being fired from General Motors. I remember being let go from Champ Sports because I said I would like to have a position like yours one day. You know, I remember all that stuff.
Oh man.
So, you know, you think back about where you came from to where you are now. I've been here in LA for 22 years and I've moved 17 times. 17. And not one time did I ever feel like those other places was my home until now, where I am right now. And I know I have one more move because this is our starter house and we're going to get to our dream house.
Yeah.
To get to our dream house, we have to stay focused, we have to stay loving, and we have to stay, you know, grinding to get to where we want to get to.
Yeah.
I don't care when we end this interview, but that needs to be the end, period. Because that was
no, I'm like, I just want to sit here and be like, oh.
I just like speaking from the heart, man. You know, a lot of times people feel like, they Hollywood, they have the Hollywood talk, the LA talk, but you have to realize most of the people who live here in Los Angeles is from somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
When you meet somebody who grew up here, you be like, really? You grew up here?
Yeah, that's the rarity.
Yeah, like you always ask where are you from when you're out there. I was telling them I was out there for a couple of months 20 years ago and ran it. It's crazy how the starstruck just goes away after a little while. The only time I had 2 run-ins and they were both polar opposites. One of them was after I'm not going to say names, but a guy that played Spider-Man, the first guy that played Spider-Man. He was at, the Crunch Gym that's at Hollywood and Highland. Okay, so I was going up to the second floor and he was coming down after training for the second movie. And I was like, oh my God, Spider-Man. And I stuck my hand up and I just got this, and he went past me. And from that point,
you got this. He must be from Arkansas.
Seriously, that was my point when I was like, yeah, he probably just doesn't want to fuck with anyone because he's leaving the gym. Like, I wouldn't want to do it either.
Day, yeah.
And within a month, I'm sitting at Bob's Big Boy eating late at night. Yeah, I'm by myself and another person who will remain nameless, but he had his own show based in Ohio, Cleveland. White guy, funny glasses. I hear this, hey, are you eating alone? And I turn around and it's him. And he sat down while I finished my meal and just chatted with me.
Wow.
And I was this 20-year-old, like, picture a guy in 2002 that's a big rocker living in LA. I mean, that's who I look like. And that's when you realize everyone's a person. They just have different jobs. You're just more exposed to what they do versus.
Yep.
So when you went to go to high five, did he be like, hey, COVID's coming in 18 years.
Dude, I've never gotten that sour of a look from someone in my life.
I have another story for you. And it's about like what you just said.
Yeah.
The movie Ocean's 11. Every day I'm playing basketball with Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Don Cheadle, Bernie Mac, George Clooney. And I remember this one specific day. And I tell this story all the time. We're out there playing, and George Clooney's shoe came untied. You should have seen this dude run out there to tie George Clooney's shoe.
Dude, some of it's insane.
Hold on. George Clooney said, hey, I can tie my own shoe. You don't need to do that. But that's the thing. People put people on these pedestals.
Yeah.
And they don't want that. They just want to be treated like everybody else.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, if he was that type of person, he'd be like, oh yeah, and double knot that while you at it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think sometimes like when you're on set, they cater to you so much, people don't know how to turn it off once they leave the set. They expect everybody to do it if they're that type of person.
Right. Yeah.
It's like
So I
coming
think
to
society,
America.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think society makes these people the way that they are. Some of the people,
Yes.
the negatives.
Yeah.
That's
I feel
because
like
our
now
country
you've got
really does
people.
worship celebrity.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So it's insane. And
Even when I'm on set, they be like, I can make your plate. I'm like, no, I can make my own plate. I'm like,
It's a buffet.
no.
It's craft
It's
service. I
weird.
can speak
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Well, you've got people that are getting into that now, not because they enjoy it. Like if you said, yeah, the money's great, I enjoy doing it, cool, go for it. You know, if that's your
Mhm.
creative outlet and it's good money and you're happy, go for it. But then you've got a handful of people that are seeing that diva bullshit, and that's their main reason to
Mhm.
try and get into it. And it just becomes worse and worse, and it creates that culture
Mhm.
where you're less than, you're greater than, and
Right.
I'm gonna wipe your brow while you take a shit if that's what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which I wouldn't mind someone doing that for me, but beyond that,
It's weird, man. I never want anybody, like even the word celebrity, to me that word is gone. The
Mhm.
celebrities,
Yeah.
the legends is like the Betty Whites,
Who you've worked
people
with
like
too.
Yeah. Who you got to work with.
like
Yeah.
that. But now you got people that's in these reality show people, these women who twerk and all
Yes.
that, and it's just like those are who you consider celebrities now.
Mhm.
You know what I
Influencer.
mean?
Oh, the housewives of
What'd you say, Mike?
whatever and the
Like what?
What?
Influencer.
it's
Yeah.
very
Right,
weird.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
like what do you do for a living besides play somebody else's video and talk about it or dance to their video? You don't really need talent to do that. And I'm not
Mhm.
hating on anybody, but don't ever say that's a freaking celebrity when the only thing they're doing is cussing people out or fighting on these doggone reality shows. That ain't no celebrity.
Making
That's
fun of
somebody that's
someone on
know how to
social
act
media.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just trying to get
It's-
ahead by tearing other people down. Yeah.
Or even when casting directors will book that person over a person who really has talent because that person has 1 million followers and they think that 1 million followers is going to go and watch that show. No, they're not.
Right.
That's not going to work. That's not what these people are following these people for. They're not following them to see that them reading a script or memorizing a script. They follow them because they're making them laugh or whatever.
Yeah.
Paris
Yeah.
Hilton, House of Wax. That's all I'm gonna say.
Come on, man.
Yep. Like why? Why is that even? Let's be honest. She's rich and her sex tape leaked. Like that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
and she made money off of showing how I'm not bad mouthing anyone, but her show that she did with Richie, like that was just a show about how dumb these girls are.
Right.
Like they
I know.
and
A lot-
it was such a it was sad to me
It
Yeah.
was
because
It
you're
was
exploiting it. It's self-exploitation for a paycheck. And it's
Yeah.
just-
Mhm.
I'm just like, man, these people with the sex tapes is getting out there. Babe,
I've re-
what do I say?
hey, no, it ain't gonna work. I released 15.
You got it? Okay.
I leaked 15 of my own,
Hold on.
man. It doesn't work.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You might have to explain to some of the
Like,
younger
I
viewers
knew
what
I
the hell you
recognized
just held
you
up.
somewhere.
That's all VHS.
Oh my
I
god.
don't know how it got out.
Bro,
Well,
If you
she's
came out
also
with a
selling
beta-
pictures of-
Hey, they be like, TMZ be like, somebody sent us a VHS tape.
somebody, y'all got a converter for this shit?
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Dude, is there anything you wanna push or promote or anything? While
Oh,
we're
Yeah,
doing
man.
this?
I actually wrote some stuff down.
Yeah.
Let's get it, dude.
Hey, you
Um,
can.
I
You
just
got
want to
that
say,
new-
first of all, I just want to say thank you guys for having me on your show.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
coming
very
on.
much. And to your listeners or subscribers or whatever, check out 7 Cemeteries
Yeah.
with my man Danny Trejo and Lou Temple.
Mhm.
Witness. I'm working on two new concepts. One is called Little Walter. I don't know if you guys remember that song by Tony back in the day. Like, hey, little Walter, somebody's gonna get you, little Walter. Well, that song used to creep me out. So I created I created a script called Little Walter, and Little Walter is like the movie Magic or Candy or Chucky.
Okay.
So, but it's more in lines with the old school movie Magic with the puppet.
I was gonna say it looks like a ventriloquist doll kind of.
Yeah, and I created one called Pandemic Cats because when we moved over here, it was a house up the street, and this guy died in it, and he had like 100 and some cats inside the house.
Oh no!
And this was right around when the pandemic started, so I'm like, maybe these cats started this pandemic.
It's funny what gets your brain going. The
Yeah.
random stuff that you're like, idea.
But the thing about it though, Lindsay, I will be asleep and I can dream and see the whole movie.
That's
the lines
cool.
and everything. I it's like I play it in my head while I'm sleeping. I just be like and I'm asleep.
And that's a movie idea right there, dude.
Yeah.
That's a movie idea right there.
Yeah, man.
That's true.
So I got Strawberry, a movie called Strawberry Princess. Pushing out my the traveling shows with, like I said, convention and street eats with the Wards. I filmed a series in New York a few months ago called No Turning Back, and I was just in Peru filming a movie called Man Cha Cha. I can't even pronounce it. Man Cha Cha, something like that. And hopefully Dawn of Five Evils. John Wynn's 1 hour. Again, filming this movie called The Demons Within. But I'm really excited about this last one called Fire that we're going to start next month. It's with the same people that I did Social Disturbance with. So it's a timepiece. So I'm very excited about that.
What time?
So,
like what era?
Yeah.
Like the 60s.
Okay.
Like the 60s.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a tough. They said they're gonna try to do it like 60s in the South. So we'll see. But then it's like, well, people might have a hard time with the accent, so we might do it for Midwest. But I don't know. But
bro, if you need some coaching on the accent, I can help you out with it.
Yeah, man.
I'll just get you in touch with some of my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. But again, I appreciate you guys having me on the show. And
oh man, our pleasure, 100%.
Yeah,
I guarantee
it's an honor, dude. And like I said, like that was when you talk about how you just like to make people laugh and just be a good person to people. That's exactly what I told them. I was like, I think it's worth reaching out to see if he would do this because he's a chill, down to earth dude who's nice.
Well, thank you, Lindsay.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate it.
Been an honor, and if you ever want to come back on, you are more than welcome.
You let me know, and I'm there.
If you ever want to have puppy FaceTime too, you just give me a shout.
Yeah, we play eargasms.
We should. Oh my god.
Go start. Oh, look, you got Mikey worked up.
All right, thank you, Vincent M. Ward, for coming today.
Yeah,
and we're totally blown away by your work. I'm still curious about what you do in your downtime because you're constantly out and about doing a lot of things. But we have a lot to look forward to, and some stuff to search up now on YouTube. That are pretty interesting. But thank you for coming. We truly appreciate it. We have nothing but love, and thank you as always with Cookie and Lindsay, and we're out.